Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about Saga Volume 1. But as regular listeners will know, that comes later. First, we have catching up with Jack and Liam. So, Jack, how are you? Have you been up to anything fun lately?
I'm good, thanks, Liam.
Excellent. And the second part of my question, have you been up to anything fun lately?
Yeah, I have. I went to a party.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Was it one of your like hip hop parties that you like to go to?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, you're quite, what's the word? With it, I think.
Do you?
Yeah, because you live in that London. Well, you sort of live near that London where it's all very happening, right?
Yeah, sure, no. But
So, I just thought it would be like a 24-hour rave that you'd have gone to.
well, no, you're picturing the wrong sort of party, I think. Because this party, as opposed to being a 24-hour rave with, you know, banging techno beats and
you
just
wearing
non-stop.
like you're wearing like a mesh vest.
Yeah, and glow bands, and I've
And
probably
sunglasses.
got glow body paint on.
Yeah, and definitely a headband.
Yeah, I wore a headband, but anyway.
Okay.
Instead of that, Liam, it was a surprise birthday party at someone's house
Okay.
with a wrestling theme.
That's interesting. Interesting theme. Bit of a throwback to their youth, I imagine. Bit of nostalgia.
No, because the person it was is Sam, who is one of the hosts on Laws of Wrestling.
Friend of the show.
Friends of the show.
Yeah, you've been on their episode once, I think.
Yes, I have.
And I think they invited me, but I haven't been in your neck of the woods yet.
No, that's true.
Because they all record in like one location, don't they?
Yeah, they don't do what we do.
No, probably smart.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was his party.
So
and,
sorry,
you know,
I have questions.
Big surprise.
I have questions.
Go on. What's your question?
So you said it was wrestling themed, right?
Yep.
So fancy dress.
Yep. Everyone dressed up. Every single person there.
So as we all know, you're a big fan of wrestling.
Yep. Love wrestling.
Who did you go as?
Well, Liam, I'll tell you what. I'll play the game that I played with everyone else, which was a sort of guess who I am sort of thing. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to describe my outfit to you.
I have a question before you start.
Yeah, go on.
I know, like the last time I saw you, you were going for this like shaved face look.
Yeah, I'm still clean shaven. Yeah.
Still doing it, right? Okay. Because if you'd have had the beard, I would have said you'd have made like a perfect like mankind.
Yeah, that's an old reference there, Liam. Don't think he is particularly in it anymore.
No, but I mean, you're not going to go as like a modern, boring wrestler. You'll go as one of the classics, right? Like a Hulk Hogan.
Didn't I?
I don't know.
Let's figure it out. Let's see.
Right.
Let's see. Okay, so
can we just say I haven't watched wrestling in like at least I think 15 years.
That probably won't affect how good your guesses are.
Awesome.
So picture me.
Yeah.
My hair's slightly long, Liam. So long hair.
Long hair.
Clean shaven.
Clean shaven.
Red dressing gown.
Red dressing gown. Hugh Hefner.
That's all you need. No. Oh, it is the same outfit I wore for my Hugh Hefner costume, but no, not him, Liam.
What? Oh, I got it.
Go on.
Stan Lee in, I think it's Iron Man 2, where he's mistaken for Hugh Hefner.
Oh, possibly. Though no.
Okay. Rocky.
No, it was a wrestler, Liam. I feel like you've lost. You've gone off course here.
It was okay. Was it Mickey Rourke's character from The Wrestler?
No, it was a WWE wrestler.
Right. Long hair. Ed Hardy.
And to that, Liam, I would say yes.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because I, Liam, was whoever people wanted me to be.
Oh,
the best costume you can have. Throughout the night, I was Undertaker. I was British Bulldog. I was Gold Dust.
Did anyone ever like cotton on that you were just sort of?
Yes, immediately when they said, "Who are you?" and I went, "I don't know," and then I just started saying wrestlers at them, and then every time someone else would ask what I was doing, I'd say a different wrestler.
Okay. Did you not feel like you could have maybe put more effort into that?
No, to be fair, when I said everyone was dressed up, what I mean is one of the other people there, Tom Hogan, also friend of the show.
Yes, of
course. He had come as crowd member number 4, which consisted of him not wearing an outfit but pretending he was a member of the crowd in wrestling.
Okay.
So
I mean, he
everyone
must have had a
was
sign
in costume.
A lot of the crowds hold up signs.
There was a moment where he said, "I'm going to get a sign," and one of the party hosts, Jess, she said, "Oh, we've got cardboard," and Tom went, "It's a little bit small." And I went, "Well, Tom, at the moment you haven't got anything, so something is better than nothing."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, that's too much."
Okay. So who else was in attendance?
Dan Palmer, who has been a guest on this show.
Yeah, who did he go as?
He went as... he was wearing a costume.
Okay.
He went as Edge. It was Edge. There you go.
Edge. That's good. I feel like it would be really like shit if someone had like a themed party and then no one really like ran with the theme.
Oh no, the people there who like love wrestling,
Yeah.
a lot of them came in, some of them quite good outfits.
That's good, because I imagine it'd be like really disappointing for like the birthday boy if he's like, oh, I'm really looking forward to everyone's costumes, and then just
Well,
no
it
one
was a
made the
surprise
effort.
party, so he wasn't looking
Well,
forward to
that's
anything.
true. So I guess he couldn't have come in costume then.
No, and we all bullied him for that.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone throws him a birthday party and he doesn't even put in the effort to come dressed up. It's pathetic, really.
Shocking. Why? I bet you felt silly for bothering.
Exactly. I mean, at that point, I should have taken the dressing gown off and been like, I'm done, mate.
Did anyone actually do some wrestling?
There was, yes. I was trying to remember then, because I got a little bit drunk.
Yeah,
yeah, I think right at the end, some people were wrestling.
Okay. Was that quite fun?
Well, I wasn't part of it.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about wrestling, Liam, so I can't really join in with the wrestles.
No, I don't. I just know, like, when I was at school, and all of like when wrestling was really popular. So like say when I was like 12 at school,
Yep.
everyone at like lunchtime used to wrestle, but they kind of forgot the like core component of wrestling in that it is essentially fake. So
yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, so like they were actually like proper throwing down. It's like, this isn't really wrestling. You're missing kind of like the artistry of wrestling, because it's easy to just punch someone in the face, but it's hard to like punch someone in the face without actually punching them in the face, but making it look like you've punched them in the face.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is the core skill that wrestlers have.
Yeah, it's sort of why I fucking can't stand method acting.
Go on.
So you know, like Daniel Day-Lewis, right? Just as an example.
That was now, Liam. Who are you talking to?
Sorry.
Why would you ever ask the question? So you know, and then an actor's name.
And an actor's name.
Silly.
So did you ever see There Will Be Blood?
No.
Okay. Gangs of New York.
No.
I'm trying to think like what
I
he.
probably know. I probably know him because I've seen like trailers for those and stuff.
Yeah, you probably like recognize.
I probably know him.
Yeah. I'm just. There's got to be something that you've seen.
Let's
him
just
in.
pretend that I know who he is.
Hang on. Did you ever see Lincoln?
No.
All right. The Last of the Mohicans.
Don't think so.
My Left Foot.
No.
Anyway, this guy is well known for being a method actor.
Right, got you.
What about Marlon Brando? I think he's done some method acting in the past.
Yeah, I know him.
Excellent. So, okay, so everyone's like... So say he gets this role and he's got to be, I don't know, like a candlestick maker, okay?
Yep.
He'll go and he'll actually learn how to make candles, right?
Yep.
So then they film it and he's just sat there making candles. Now, I'm sorry, everyone's like, that's amazing. What wonderful acting. It's not acting if you're actually doing it, though. That's the opposite of acting.
But then is that not still impressive? Like, I get what you're saying, and I agree in the principle of you are no longer acting, but then it's something different. So then is that not... Like, I know it's not then traditional acting, but surely you do get some props for... Because I imagine actors don't have a huge amount of time, especially when they're working on projects. So to go and be like, I'm going to learn to make candles.
Yeah, like, okay, so it is impressive, but I think if I feel like if you was a truly good actor, you wouldn't need to actually go and learn how to actually do it. You could just act at doing it, and if you was a good actor, that would be believable enough.
But then that's different. But that's what I'm saying. Is it not like a different thing? Like, I get... Like, it's not good traditional acting, as in they're not getting up there and being like, I can make you believe that I'm a candle maker, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
But then it is still something. It's like acting of a different kind.
Well, it's not acting, it's just doing.
Well,
do you know what I
no,
mean? It
no,
would be like...
because then there's got to be a limit, like, because if someone's acting sad,
Yeah.
they've probably been sad at some point, and to display sadness in their acting, they're probably, drawing on the memories of what it's like to be sad. They're going, okay, when I'm sad, this is how I act, this is how people act when they're sad. So everyone is doing it, but method actors are taking that to extremes in that they do it for everything, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not dissing you, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm genuinely trying to, like, is it... I don't know.
No, I get where you're coming from, and a lot of people do seem to like think method acting is like the pinnacle of acting. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't particularly say it's the pinnacle. I think someone that acts in a standard sort of way is probably more impressive.
Put it this way: if you put two people side by side and you go, this person has spent the last like 18 months learning how to actually make candlesticks, and this person is acting, and if they both looked exactly the same, I'd go, well, the acting is more impressive. Like, hire that person because they haven't just wasted 18 months doing it. They're just acting. That person over there the candlestick maker guy, he's just making a fucking candle. That's no help. Like,
Yeah, no, that's fair. Do you think there's ever like casting directors and stuff who sit down and they go, "Oh, we want to hire these people. You know, we get them all in for auditions," and then like one guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, so what's the role?" And they're like, "Oh, you're a cobbler, so you're making shoes."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, when are you filming? Because I do need to go and learn how to make shoes now."
I think Daniel Day-Lewis might be very much like that. I get from what I've like read about him, he seems very into the methody side of things.
Because at that point it would hinder the hiring process, I imagine. Because I'd probably go, no, I'll get someone that's not gonna fuck off for a year.
Exactly. I agree. It's like, it reminds me of, there was a story about so Peter Jackson was getting ready to make The Lovely Bones.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And he initially cast Ryan Gosling, I think, as the dad in that. So Ryan Gosling actually got the role and then just decided by himself that he was just going to gain a load of weight because he felt that would be that appropriate for the role.
Right.
So when he shows up to do his acting and they see him, Peter Jackson's like, "The fuck have you done?" And they had to get rid of him because they wanted Ryan Gosling. They didn't want Ryan Gosling.
Not fat Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. I felt quite bad, but equally, like, you got to kind of make sure you're on the same page as the filmmakers.
Yeah, I feel like that's a situation where you need to ask.
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to put on a load of weight? And I can imagine him with like quite hopeful eyes, and then
yeah, I really want to put on some weight.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, Ryan.
I'm sick of being a fucking sex symbol.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, there's so many levels to what he decided to do there that just seems so wrong.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, another thing that I thought was quite funny is, Zac Efron, very soon, I'm seeing it on Thursday actually.
Oh, God.
He's going to be in Baywatch.
Yeah.
And he's got like quite a silly haircut for it. And I saw him on an American Chat show and they were like, why have you got your hair like this? He's like, well, I wanted to keep it this way because normally with the filming process, they'll film like the whole thing, go through the editing, and then they'll want to do like pickups and they want to go back and reshoot some things maybe they haven't got a shot.
Yeah.
And apparently the filmmaker turned around and said to him, "I don't know why you've kept your hair like that. We could have just given you a wig or something. You did not need to keep your hair like that for like an unnecessary extra like 3 or 4 months." Which I quite...
So he's just had a silly haircut because he was trying to be helpful, but they were like, "No,
you don't need to,
didn't
mate."
Need to.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, he's so good looking. He pulled it off, the bastard.
I'm sure he did, Liam.
Yeah. So the party was a raging success, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Was there any drama?
No.
No, that's a shame. It's always...
I mean, I feel like drama at parties sort of stops once you get out of your teenage years.
You would hope.
Because but here's the thing: like at this point, at 25,
my
friendship group. Oh yeah, I know it's difficult for you to remember these years.
Yeah.
But back when, cast your mind back, Liam, to the early Roman era. Okay. You were fresh out of your teenage years.
Yeah. Trying to avoid the gladiatorial pits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You'd sort of cemented your friendship group. I feel like I definitely have.
Yeah.
I've got a group of friends that are like my core friends, and people come and go sort of thing. But there's that main group.
Yeah.
So like drama in that group doesn't really happen because if it was going to happen,
it would have happened by now. Yeah.
So like there's still every now and again something will happen, and but it's never like earth shattering like it is. I feel in those TV shows about 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get to kiss anyone at the party?
No, Liam. I was drinking wine from a bottle, so I was being very unattractive.
I feel like that's an unfair assessment. I'm sure there's probably some ladies out there, maybe future listeners, who the thought of you in a dressing gown drinking wine from a bottle is making them weak at the knees right now.
My favourite thing, Liam, was the bottle of wine perfectly fit in the dressing gown pocket. So I literally walked around the party with an open bottle of wine in my pocket.
Just practical, isn't it, really?
Exactly, that's how I felt.
Yeah. So, ladies, form an orderly queue, please. Oh, I will vet them for you, because I'm nice like that.
I don't think I want you to vet them.
No, I think if I was to, I think I'd make the right choice.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I think I know what would be a good match for you when it comes to...
Yes, that's true.
The opposite sex.
You would know what was a good match, but would you pick that?
It depends.
Exactly. There we go. There's the issue.
If we have two options where it's like, oh, she'd be perfect versus she'd be funny.
Exactly. I think it's about 50-50 on it whether I'd get the one that was perfect.
I could make no guarantees.
Exactly.
But
that's the issue.
I would keep her in mind.
Cool, thanks.
It's alright. I feel like after it all went horribly wrong with
You'd
the
go,
one
"Oh,
that I
there
just
was
thought
this
would be
other
funny, I'd be like, oh, should have let you had this one who would have been perfect for you. But
Good times.
it's all fair in love and war.
Sure. What have you been up to, Liam?
I haven't been to no parties.
No?
No. I haven't even been to D&D because I've just been so busy working extra hours and stuff.
Oh.
I know. It's just been uneventful is probably the best word.
Yeah?
Yeah, like last weekend, for example, with Alien Covenant coming out, more on that later, I spent the weekend just watching all of the Alien and Predator films in preparation for it.
That's fair enough. I still haven't been to see Alien Covenant. I need to sort that out.
We'll get to it later.
I know. What did you think, though, watching all of the Alien and Predator films up to this point?
So I'd seen most before. The only ones I hadn't seen previously was Predators and Prometheus.
I didn't mind Prometheus.
The thing is, it feels like it was written as a different film, and then someone went, this would make more money if we put it in the Alien universe, and then those components just feel like they've been shoved in, and they don't quite naturally fit.
Yeah, no, it is a weird one, Prometheus, because I get why people don't like it.
Yeah.
The only reason I think I sort of enjoy it is the fact that it feels like you're getting more alien lore in the sort of,
yes, but the
bit,
other...
like, this is preparing the Alien films sort of thing.
But the thing is, I think with a creature like the Alien, almost like horror creatures, it's scarier the less you know, almost. Like,
it is, definitely.
Yeah, like that's
but then
why...
Alien stopped being a scary film after... I mean, was Aliens that scary?
It had moments, but it did.
But
definitely...
then, like 3 and 4, definitely at that point, it wasn't a particular. But I get what you mean, like, because the first Alien is so scary because they did such a good job of not showing the alien.
Exactly, and also like the first Alien film works perfectly well without knowing where the alien came from, what its motivation was. Like those kind of components weren't necessary for the film to still be effective and good, and I feel like you run a risk when you go back to a film like that and you try and fill in those blanks of making the kind of films that came before less effective.
Yeah, I think definitely as it stands at the moment, whereas you've got that whole debate with Star Wars on like what order people watch them in and stuff.
Yes.
If someone is coming fresh to the Alien franchise and you're in charge of... They're like, look, you've got to tell me, what film do I need to watch?
Yeah.
You 100% make them watch Alien first.
Yeah, and okay,
because Prometheus would belittle that experience.
Definitely. And this brings me on to something quite interesting. I was reading an article about Star Wars, and they were saying how with the... since Disney has acquired the rights to it, they've been trying to do like a Marvel thing. So they've looked at the MCU and have gone, that's working wonders for us. And this article was saying it feels like they've tried to do that with Star Wars, but the issue is, with Star Wars, you've got like a galaxy far, far away, right, to tell all these different stories in. But they're saying this like universe that they're trying to create, each film is actually making it all feel smaller because the films are so intent on tying it all back into like the original trilogy.
Yeah,
and like the Skywalker saga, if you will. So they're like, we don't understand why we're not getting other stories that are completely unconnected to all the stuff we've previously seen.
Yeah, because we're getting spin-offs like Rogue One, but that's all set on planets we know, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, even it has like new planets, but it's still is kind of just helping to tell a story that we do already know.
Yeah. I get that. I don't particularly mind, but I do also get it.
Yeah, I just think it's because you have so much potential with something like that, it just feels weird that you're not getting something that's only like very loosely connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the Alien films, I have to say one thing that it didn't like bother me, but I didn't like that Prometheus kind of made the Alien versus Predator films like redundant, like it took them out of the canon. I think they were always meant to be out of canon. Yeah, it's just
like I don't remember ever watching, because I don't know. Like, to me, it feels weird anyway, because you've got Alien, which is set in the future.
Yes.
And people are like, oh my god, there's this creature, and we need to... And Weyland Yutani Corp are like, we've got to capture that and get it. And then AVP comes out, and you're like, no, they were on Earth for millions of years.
And it does feel kind of like lame the way they do try and kind of weave it into the mythology, like by having Lance Henriksen appear in AVP.
Yeah, it's all a bit. I like AVP personally, but
it was fine. It was I
Yeah.
watched Freddy vs Jason recently, and AVP was better than that. But it still, I think, didn't live up to the potential of the title.
Oh no, definitely not.
And Predators, that wasn't good.
Predators is not a good film.
Do you know what? There's a trend I noticed, which started in the first AVP, and I think it carried on into Predators, which is like humans and a predator teaming up, like some sort of weird buddy cop type thing. I'm so sick
weird.
of that. And apparently the new Predator film is going to have more of it. And I'm just like, I'm not on board.
I didn't even know there was a new Predator film coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be called The Predator. I think it's written and directed by Shane Black, who was actually... So, obviously, we know him from Iron Man 3. He directed that.
Of course.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But he was actually in the first Predator film as an actor as well, as one of the commando guys. Yeah.
I don't want Predators to team up with humans. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Like, the way that, like, Predator 2 ended, where there's, like, a bit of mutual respect between, like, the Danny Glover character and, like, the lead Predator sort of made sense, but they didn't take it to that next level of, and now they're teaming up to take down a bigger threat. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's just bullshit.
Yeah, like the bullshit fucking AVP. She gets the acid predator mark of approval or whatever bullshit that is. That film would have been so much better if that had all happened. She'd helped him, and then he just cut off her head and was like, "Another skull."
Yes. Well, that's the thing. So if the predator is kind of going after, like, from what I can understand, it hunts for sport, right? So it wants to go after, like, so that's why it won't attack someone who's like unarmed or injured or whatever.
Yep.
Surely if you've seen someone take down, like, a xenomorph, you'd just be like, well, now they're surely a worthy foe.
Yeah, 100%.
Not let's team up, but I want that skull.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I killed this human because they killed a xenomorph.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a trope that I'm really sick of, and I was worried when I heard we'd get more of it potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Predators has other issues, like introducing a whole other sort of sub-race of predators.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Did not need that.
Adrian Brody doesn't work as a leading man in that sort of role.
Yep.
Fucking Topher Grace. Is that his name, I think?
Yeah, that sounds right.
His whole role was just weak sauce. Not a fan.
No, that's fair.
Prometheus, I got to say, Fassbender was great in that.
Yeah, he is good as an android.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of it for my weekend. It was very, just sit and watch a bunch of films, really. So I can't really pretend anything exciting happened.
No, that's fair enough.
Or we could pretend something exciting happened.
Well, maybe not.
No, our listeners don't know the difference.
I don't really want to lie to the listeners.
What if we embellish the truth a little bit?
Go on, how?
I had a blazing argument with Kat.
What about?
Farted.
Bad. Let's move on.
Okay. Cinema stuff. Liam did stuff, and it was cinema stuff.
And what was the stuff that you did, Liam?
I went to the cinema. It was cinema
To see
stuff. I'm going to do some spoiler-free reviews of the stuff I saw at the cinema now.
Yeah.
First one, Alien Covenant. Because that ties into what we were just talking about.
Yep, that's very good.
So this is... Did you see... I have a question before we start. Did you see the trailer to this?
Yes.
Right. I need some kind of guidelines when it comes to spoilers, because I don't want to spoil this, and I don't want to do it by
Yeah, please
accident.
don't. I want to see it.
Yeah. So here's my questions. Talking about what happens in the trailer, not a spoiler.
No, not in my opinion, no.
However, what about saying where in the film stuff in the trailer happens?
That might be a spoiler.
Okay. So let me just be careful then. So I think the trailer, and I know there's an argument, like, anyone that's listening that's thinking, oh, you shouldn't, like, there's this, like, train of thought that you shouldn't really watch trailers and stuff before seeing a film because it can give you, like, false expectations, or, I understand that argument, but when you go to the cinema a lot, it's impossible to avoid trailers for big films.
Yep, that's fair.
So there's the trailer kind of makes it seem like it's drawing more from the first Alien film and going back to that sort of style, I think.
Yeah. I assume it doesn't.
The film is a lot more in line with Prometheus than it is with the first Alien film, and I think they deliberately did that trailer because after the, like, critical mauling that Prometheus got, they were like, let's kind of try and market this as what we know people prefer. But it's not quite like that. It is a lot more like put it this way, it's a lot more like a Prometheus sequel than it is like an Alien prequel.
Okay.
Fassbender is once again a highlight. For anyone that doesn't know, it is basically about a crew on a ship. Something happens. They get a signal. They go and find. Like they go to investigate. They find something on that planet. So so far that does sound very much like the first Alien film, right?
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, well, what they're colonists, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to start maybe not the first colony, but a colony.
Yes, definitely. So I think your like mileage with this film is going to be very dependent on how you felt about Prometheus, because I think Prometheus starts tackling all these like weighty questions of like, where did we come from? Who created us? All that sort of thing that you get more of here. You get more of those like weighty theological discussions, which I think that's the difference between this and a film like Alien. Like Alien, you had the crew discussing like if they'd get paid extra for going out of their way to respond to this signal sort of thing. Like it felt a lot more grounded in a sort of reality.
Yeah.
Whereas this does just feel like people like delivering a script, Doesn't feel like this is conversations that these people would naturally be having.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Billy Crudup, who I'm a big fan of, he's great. And Catherine Waterston, who's like the lead, also very good. And also Danny McBride was surprisingly, because I kind of associate him with more comedic roles.
Yep, definitely.
So surprised at how good he was.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and there is like neat stuff in the film. Like the special effects are at a level now that are just like you can't really fault them. Some issues with the editing, especially when the action kind of starts kicking off. The editing gets a bit too choppy, so it's kind of hard to like make out what's going on where at times.
Yeah, is that a deliberate thing? Because I know that was deliberate in films like Transformers, because they couldn't animate the stuff
well no, because I think the special effects are definitely at the stage where they could have. It wasn't so much an animation thing. I wonder if it was like, so it's trying to disorientate the viewers so they feel as disorientated as the characters do.
Oh, got you.
But I just don't think it works very well. When you're trying to have like an action thing going on, it's a lot more effective to know exactly where the action's happening in relation to the characters you care about than to just be confused like those characters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For me, I preferred Alien Covenant to Prometheus, but like it's not a patch on like Alien or Aliens.
Yep, okay. That's sort of what I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's a 3 out of 5.
That's not. Yeah, that's all right. I'm definitely going to go see it.
Yeah,
next week.
I think you should. I think there's enough to it that it's worth seeing. And it's like you said you enjoyed Prometheus, so definitely give it a try. Next, I saw Colossal.
Okay, you mentioned this to me before, and it's only recently that I saw the trailer, and that has sold me on this film. Like, I really want to go see this.
It's a unique film, right?
Yeah. So from the trailer, it looks like it's a woman.
Yeah, Anne
Hathaway. Who controls a giant monster.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So, I saw this getting like... So I wanted to go see it, and then I saw it like the day it came out in the UK, and I was already seeing on Twitter like quite a lot of positive buzz around it.
Okay.
And like you, the trailer had already sold me. I don't think it works as well as I was hoping it would.
Okay.
Because I think you get this impression from the trailer as well. The film, it feels like it doesn't know what it's trying to do. So it's trying to do like there's 3 different things going on essentially. There's like 3 different films trying to be crammed into this one. You've got the whole monster stuff. That's like one element.
Yep.
You've got this element of like Anne Hathaway, who is kind of struggling in the big city and has to like relocate home and is just kind of like finding out where the people who she sort of left behind, where they are in their lives. And there's that element to it, which is already, those two are very different things, okay? Very different beasts. Like, one is a huge sci-fi thing. The other thing like wouldn't be out of place in like an indie, like a mumblecore type thing, right?
Yeah.
Then you got this third element, which is Anne Hathaway is battling with alcoholism.
Oh, okay. Oh, you do sort of see that in the trailer, I think.
Yeah. So you've got these 3 kind of key elements, all like competing and vying to be this like focus at times, and The monster thing particularly feels like it's being very deliberately metaphorical for, like, you know, consequences of alcohol abuse, essentially.
Yeah.
It doesn't gel as well as I was, like, hoping it would.
That's a shame.
It is. So Anne Hathaway is great. I like what I've seen of her previously. I think there was a bit of a backlash against her because there was, like, a period of time where it seemed like she was in everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I never felt that way, but also I wasn't going to, like, the cinema a lot at that time, so I don't know. I missed that, but I thought she was good in this. And also really surprised by Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
He's really good. And there's a moment in the film where there's a scene where essentially it's like a turning point for his character. And I'm trying to very deliberately be vague here.
Yeah.
But there's a scene that was just really gripping, really compelling. Right up my street, like all dialogue based, okay? And I was like, okay, it's taken us maybe like half the film to get here, but I'm on board now. I'm really excited to see where we're going. And it doesn't quite make the most of it, I don't think. Like, I don't know if I'm being too vague.
No, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it, so it is vague.
Yeah.
And you also can't spoil it, so it's vague. But that makes sense. I see. I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And there's a couple of, like, decisions that were made that I see why they were made. There's a couple of things that you see that made me feel a bit uncomfortable in a, like, not in a way where the film is trying to make you uncomfortable. So not like, you know, there's like when you watch a horror film or something, it makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that. Just in a like, oh, I don't know how that kind of helps you with any points you're making.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's 3 out of 5 because I did like the fact that it very much feels like the director has told the film he wanted to tell. Like, I think if you'd had a studio interfering or something, it would have been a completely different beast. So it definitely feels like it's what he wanted. Okay. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Should I go and see it, Liam?
I'd wait.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say you needed to see it at the cinema.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not like Alien Covenant where there's a lot of like cool special effects that are worth seeing on the big screen. Like the monster stuff is kind of kept to a minimum.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd wait.
Okay.
And the last film was Snatched.
I've heard nothing about this film.
It stars Amy Schumer.
Okay.
And Goldie Hawn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you kind of know a lot about Amy Schumer at all.
I know she does comedy.
She does do comedy.
That's about it.
Not my sort of comedy, to be fair. Like, I saw her in Trainwreck, and I wasn't that impressed by it. This was the sort of film that I was like, I would rather go and see it at the cinema with my cinema card, where it doesn't effectively cost me any extra money, than like wait and pick it up on Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah, right. Got you.
It came out, I think, last weekend, so in time for like Mother's Day in America.
Right.
And is 100% the sort of film that it would make sense to like take your mum to. Because the basic premise is Amy Schumer has booked a holiday to go on with her boyfriend, who in the first like 15 minutes, they break up. No one else wants to go with her, so she ends up taking her mum.
Yep.
And then they get kidnapped.
Is it a comedy?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a comedy, but it also tries to do like an action-adventure-y type thing.
Oh, okay.
And it would have worked better if it had just stuck with the comedy, I think. There's definitely a couple of funny moments. There's also like a weird, like, there's a scene that just feels really out of place. Like, someone's thought this will be funny, and then they've just kind of gone, well, let's just cram it in there. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's a bit jarring.
Okay.
But I just don't think they've got the balance right between the story they're trying to tell with this whole kidnapping thing. I think it would have worked better if it had just been like, I'm on holiday with my mum, and this is like the awkward things that we have to deal with, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't like rush to go see it. If you wanted to go and take your mum to see a film, this works. It's not great.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yeah, and it's a shame because the director, Jonathan Levine, I think his name is, he directed like a really good horror film about 10 years ago now, I think it was, called All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. So yeah, 2006, which is over 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's a great film. 100% would recommend that. It's kind of a shame to see him doing this, like going from that sort of greatness. He also did The Night Before. I don't know if you saw that. It was Seth Rogen.
That rings a bell, but I don't think I've seen it. But
it was, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like a Christmassy comedy.
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I know what film you're talking about.
Yeah. Even that was okay, because it didn't try to do too much. Snatched, I think, has just not got the balance right between comedy and story.
Yeah. Okay. So not a recommended one particularly.
No, 2.5 out of 5.
Unless you're taking your mum.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Like, it's okay. Just, I wouldn't say you need to see it at the cinema.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's it for my cinema stuff for now.
Ooh. I, Liam, have also done stuff.
Oh, what stuff did Jack do?
I'm going to do some spoiler-free reviews about the stuff that I did, Liam.
Did you watch any more anime?
No.
Okay, because those go down so well.
That's not why I'm not watching any anime at the moment, Liam.
I know.
I did more reading.
Oh, so you've kept it up?
Yep.
Alright, so...
I think I did less books this time than last time.
Okay, for anyone who listened to last week's episode, they may have noticed when you was doing your book reviews that the first one, I was kind of dismissive and snarky.
Yeah.
And then the second one, it was like I did a 180 and I was suddenly really engaged and enthused. And what they didn't hear, if they didn't see the exclusive video on YouTube, was there was another book review where you kind of had a go at me for not being...
I'm sorry, did I have a go at you?
Yeah.
I think if they go and listen to it, Liam, they'll hear you be snarky and dickheady again, and then us fall out for a while about my reviews, and then you agree to try to be positive in the next one.
Yes. So I'm going to try and be positive again, Jack. So...
I don't mind you being snarky.
No.
Just not immediately.
Alright, I am very excited to hear about these reviews.
Okay. Well, Liam,
yes.
The first 2 books that I read are the sequels to the last book I was talking about last time.
Was it the 100,000 Kingdoms?
Yeah, the 100,000 Kingdoms. That's the one. So I read book 2 of that and book 3, which are the Broken Kingdoms and the Kingdom of Gods.
Yeah.
Right? So now that I've finished that, I can talk about the series and the things that I liked and didn't like.
Okay, of course.
So the good parts about this whole series are every book you get a different character as the main character that you're following.
Okay.
So the first one, you're following a girl who has just come to this big city and is trying to learn how to deal with the political climate there.
Yeah, well, you've already reviewed the first one.
I know, I'm just refreshing you. I'm not going to review it again. I'm just catching you up with the thing.
All right, thank you.
The second book, you then... so at the end of the first one, some stuff happens and things change in the world. And the second one starts immediately after the first one. And you're following a blind artist who works in the lower levels of this city, where the poor people live.
Yeah.
She sells her art to tourists.
How does she know if she's good?
So that's her, because so far the first character had some magic, but didn't know how to use it very well. This second one, she can see magic, but she can't see anything else. So when she does art, if she does a painting, she can see what she's painting because you discover that her form of magic has something to do with her paintings. So she can sort of see. And there's also, you'll remember, Liam, because I know you pay a lot of attention to these reviews.
Yeah.
You'll remember that there were a lot of gods in the first one.
There's loads.
In this second one, a lot of the gods are in the city now and just walk around and are free to do what they want.
Oh, I thought they were in the first one.
In the first one, they were all enslaved.
Right, okay.
So in this second one, there's a lot less enslaved gods.
Okay, got you, yeah.
Without huge spoilers.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of gods walking around, and you find out that this girl has had a relationship with a god. She's friends with a couple of other gods. She's very heavily tied into the gods' world.
Okay.
Because there's some stuff about how she's got weird eyes, which is why she's blind. And all the gods think her eyes are amazing, and all the mortals are oh, they're kind of hideous, and I don't like them.
Okay.
Kind of weird, but...
Yep.
But, you follow her, and her story is really interesting, and you get to look at it, it just totally focuses on a whole other aspect of this world than you got in the first one, which I think is really cool. The issues are, I guess, I love following a character through 3 books and getting the sort of sequel to that story, and the character from the first book does appear in both sequels.
Yeah.
But because you're not directly following her, there's some sort of sadness in the fact that you're I really liked her, and now I'm following someone else.
So would you say that the other characters aren't as strong as her?
The second one is.
Yeah.
The third one is also strong, but in his own way.
Okay.
I think definitely the first book's the best one, in my opinion.
Okay.
This second one is the second best, and then the third one's the weakest, although it's still really good.
Okay.
But yeah, so you get all this stuff in the second one, which is set after that. Then the third one is, instead of following a mortal, or someone. So you get the first perspective is a mortal in the city. The second one's like a sort of mortal with more magic powers who's tied into the gods a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And then in the third one, you follow a god.
Okay.
And I was a bit like, I don't know how they're going to do this because, you know, it's very easy to understand how a mortal thinks. But they actually do a really good job because the way they've structured these gods are that they have a specific aspect that they follow. So there's like a god of jealousy, a god of hunger, all that sort of thing. And those gods are strongest when they're doing what their thing is.
Okay.
So the god of hunger has the most power when she's trying to devour things or around people that are hungry or hungry for love, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's not always a literal take.
It's exactly, it can be interpretive.
Yeah.
And the god of hunger does like evolve over the book. She's a minor character, but she does evolve over the books.
Okay.
And starts being a bit less like, I'm going to eat everything, and is like, oh, I also am strong if I'm around people who are just looking for power.
Yeah. Okay.
But in the third one, you follow the god. He's the first child of the gods. So there's 3 main gods and then all their children. Mm-hmm. And he's the first of the children. And his name's Seer. And he's the god of trickery and childhood. So he's one of the oldest gods, but he acts like a child.
Okay.
So it's kind of easy to like understand what his decisions are, because he'll do something and be like, I'm going to just do a prank. Even though there's going to be repercussions and it might not be the best time to, you know, make all of the toilet seats cold.
Yeah.
He'll just do it because that's what kids do.
Yeah. Of course.
But like he basically loses his powers right at the beginning of the book, and you are following him as he actually ages. This guy who's been a 10-year-old child for millions of years has to actually grow up, and it's this weird like that is also killing him because by not being a child, that's the opposite of what he should be doing. So it is killing him. But it's like, and then he, you know, there's like a whole love interest with him, and there's all these interesting sort of character traits that you discover about him. And honestly, it's really interesting. It's just not as strong as the first 2.
Okay.
But still worth reading, I reckon. I reckon the second one's probably a 4 again, and then the third one maybe a 3.5.
Yeah, and so you would recommend these to someone who's into like fantasy fiction?
Yes, if you like political stuff as well, this one's really good. If you're less into, you know, swords and action, this series is really good.
Okay, cool.
I think there's next to no fighting. Might be a couple of bits.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I've read, Liam, so those 2 books, and then the first book of a series called A Man of His Word.
Yeah. By
an author called Dave Duncan.
Okay, yeah, cool.
It's very good, Liam. I'm throwing in actual facts there.
I know, it's impressive.
This one, right? So I've gone on a little bit of a like, I don't know, what do you call it? A journey, I guess, of reading strong female leads in books.
Yeah.
So I was reading this one, and the first main character you meet is a girl.
Okay.
And she's like a pretty badass, like, she's a princess, but she doesn't want to be, you know, the standard, I don't want to be a princess, I want to ride horses and swing swords.
Yeah.
And I was really into that, and then the second main character was a cool, like, stable boy who discovers he's got magic powers, but both standard sort of tropes in the series. The princess sort of goes on this journey to learn to be ladylike, and I was like, okay, well, they're going to do the whole, you know, she tries to be a princess, but it doesn't really work. No, she sort of becomes a pathetic princess for most of the book.
That doesn't sound good.
That bit is not good. The book itself is really good. But
of course it is.
I love books. But there's this whole, like, she falls in love with a dude, and he's kind of a dick, and you're following her story, and you're like, I just wish you were not being pathetic right now.
Yeah.
But the other half of the book, following the guy, I can't remember his name, Rap, as he discovers he's got magic powers, then tries to save this princess. But like, so all that is pretty standard sort of fantasy stuff. But like the way that the things that they've done differently that are really interesting and genuinely interesting are the magic system they use. It, instead of being like your traditional, you do spells or, you know, magic weapons is a pretty standard thing.
Yeah.
In this world, the way the magic works are someone will give you on their deathbed, a magician will pass off a word, right? If you know one word, it makes a specific trait of yours 1,000,000 times better. So Rap specifically gets a word that makes him, it gives him something called Farsight, where he's really good at finding paths. Like he can go through a forest at night and run through it, and then his like ability is letting him sense where trees are, so he won't hit anything.
Wow.
Right? No. But so what happens is you get one word, you get really good at that specific thing.
Yeah, of course.
If you get 2 words, you become something called an adept, and you can learn anything immediately. So you can have one sword lesson and become one of the greatest swordsmen.
Yeah.
If you get 3 words, you become a sorcerer, and you can start doing actual magic and like do crazy shit like fire, lightning, and stuff. So you get the traditional magician stuff, but there's no spells. No one's like casting spells.
Yeah.
And the interesting part of it, Liam, is if someone else learns a word that you have, it cuts the power of that thing in half because 2 people now know it.
So is it like everyone just going around trying to kill all the magic people to get their words?
Yeah, basically anyone that has a word is actively hunting other words.
Yeah.
So there's this whole danger of...
You're also being hunted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they say to Rap at the beginning when they find out that he's got this magic, they're like, oh, this is bad. You now need to look out for this specific guy because he is known to just murder people to get their words.
Right. But what if you don't give them the word when you die?
They'll just keep you alive. They would torture you more than killing you.
What if you cut out your tongue?
I'm sure there are probably people in this world that have done it.
Yeah.
But also the idea is that so a lot of these people are quite powerful.
Yeah.
But they don't know who else knows their word because it's been so long. I think it was in the book, there's specifically one guy that discovered all the words and handed them out to his pupils. And there's quite a few magicians in the world, so a lot of them might know the same word as someone else, so no one knows how powerful you would be if only one person had it.
So, does the person have to die for you to be able to use their word? Or
No,
could they just tell you?
No, you could pass it on, but then you would both be weaker.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why a lot of people pass it on when they're about to die, because it's dangerous to no one.
Yeah.
And usually they're passing it to like a kid, so they don't want their kid to be weakened and just be murdered.
Yeah.
So they wait till their deathbed.
Okay. What if you died and didn't pass the word on?
Then the word would be lost, I guess.
Right, okay. That would be best, right?
Well, no, because then then your kid doesn't... I guess you'd then be saving your kid from having the power.
Yeah, be kind of dickish.
But the powers are actually quite useful, Liam.
But you then become a huge target.
But only if people know you've got a word.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Liam, in your world... I guess if the world was made up of Liams, then yeah, it would all be solved real quick. Because one guy would get a word and go, I'm just not going to tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then I'll die and it's all fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone should carry on living normal lives.
Whatever. But the other interesting thing, the final interesting thing...
There's more?
Which gives me a little bit of redemption to this series.
Okay.
And explains my 3 that I think I'm giving it.
That's quite low for you.
I know. But it's got all of the races of creatures that you'd expect in fantasy, like goblins... Dwarves.
Elves.
But instead of being the traditional ones that you're picturing...
Yeah.
There are dragons, but that's not really a race, that's a creature. Anyway.
Okay.
Instead of being like the elves are these long-living like elvish creatures with pointy ears, it's humans that are adapted to like an environment.
Right.
So like for example, the goblins are people who have dark skin that's kind of greenish a little bit.
Yeah. But
instead of being like really pointy-eared little goblins, they're just people. And I'm like interested to see whether it explains how this is happening, because it sort of makes me think about like there are like post-apocalypse fantasy books.
Yeah.
Where like the world gets plunged back into that sort of time era.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's going to do that at some point to explain that.
I mean, it's possible, isn't it?
Whatever, Liam, you're not interested. 3 out of 5, done.
Well, no, what I'm interested is, so you've talked about all the things you do like about it. I'm interested.
I also talked about the things I didn't like.
Not enough, I don't.
The fact that the strong female lead got shoved into a traditional like, oh,
but was that the only thing you didn't like?
That's the primary thing I didn't like. Yeah.
Okay. Is there nothing else?
I mean, nothing major.
Okay, fair enough. So 3 out of 5. But you're going to carry on with the series.
Yeah. I'm reading the second one now.
Is it better so far?
It sort of starts to deal with some of the issues I had.
Very good.
Housekeeping.
Oh, Twitter has been a buzz this last week.
Has it?
You know.
When you say a buzz, how do you mean?
I just mean people have been tweeting us.
A lot, or?
Sure.
Okay.
So let's start with Tom.
Friend of the show.
Who suggested last week's culture swap.
Yep.
He tweeted us saying 5 out of 5, best episode.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Also, why is this episode not called episode 39, a horrific origin story of Liam's poo wiping problems?
Yep, I didn't think about that till afterwards. I was quite rushed to come up with a title for that one.
Next, we had so in response to that tweet that Tom did about the episode title. Cinematic Sound Radio tweeted with a picture of Jane Whelan Banks' book, Liam Goes Poo in the Toilet.
Did I buy you that book?
You did indeed. So I obviously responded to that tweet with me holding the book. Just saying, I have that book. It didn't help. And they responded saying, hilarious. I'm planning to buy it for my 11-year-old son for his birthday in July. So I don't want to know why his 11-year-old son needs it. But I also don't want to be too on my high horse.
Yeah, because I bought it for you when you were like 25.
Amanda tweeted us.
Yep.
Saying she was listening. She said, thanks for the love, guys. Apologise that our episode on her show isn't up yet, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I imagine editing our bullshit is just fucking nightmare.
It is, yes.
She said, Jack finally reviewed a book I've read. I loved The Magicians, brought the second book, but haven't read it yet.
It's worth reading. I think I tweeted back at her, didn't I?
Probably.
I did, yeah. But it's definitely worth reading, Amanda. And then please let me know. That's what I said. I think I tweeted her saying, can she tell me what she thinks
She
of the rest?
said she will do. Her current book club book is top priority.
That's fair.
And she's reading The Secret History of Wonder Woman.
Fair enough.
So maybe that's a book that you'd like.
I don't read, like, factual books, though.
No, that's true. Corey, who, regular listener, tweets us now and again, tweeted us saying, who's going to launch a GoFundMe to help me at this troubling time in his life? Hashtag Liam, you can wipe it.
So are we starting a GoFundMe to help you wipe?
I feel like Corey wants to. He did also send me a private message to my own personal Twitter account.
Go on. Is it something you can read out?
Yeah, it just said, you have wiping issues, question mark, question mark, question mark. You've hidden that well, followed by a winky face and then like a crying with laughter face. To which I obviously responded, saying, maybe I should stop treating the podcast like a therapy session. Jack's a terrible therapist.
I am. I don't know why these issues come out around me.
No, so response was, Corey said, lol, I'll just focus on your accent and less on the wiping situation. Winky face. As is said on an Australian podcast, podcasts are a safe place, so keep sharing, ... just not about the wiping situation.
So are you going to then, Liam? Is this the end of Liam's wiping stories?
Probably not.
No, didn't think so.
Probably
Good.
not. There's no real update to that whole situation. Over the last couple of
there
weeks.
won't be, because you won't change.
No, right. I think I've got better.
You have.
Like, I'm showering less. Well, no, wait, that sounds wrong.
You've misunderstood the advice, Liam.
Not like overall showering less. Just like I'm having to rely on the shower less when things go awry.
Yeah. What are you doing instead?
Things aren't going as awry.
Oh, good. Okay.
So,
What have you changed?
Huh?
What have you changed that's making it go less awry?
I wonder if it's like my diet or something.
Have you stopped eating so much chili?
No.
Oh, well.
Definitely not. Still doing Liam's 3-day chili. Loving it.
Jesus.
Look, I don't know.
Nope, fair enough.
We did a poll on Twitter that a few people got involved in.
Yeah.
I could tell you how many people was into. I think it was 25 in total.
Oh, that's good. That's better than I thought.
Oh, definitely.
I think the winner was who I think the winner was, right?
Yeah. So 25 votes in total. So we had a debate. Who would win in a fight? Wolverine crossed with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or Iron Man crossed with a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So 76% went for Wolverex, leaving 24% with Iron Rex.
Yeah.
So that's some Mickey Mouse bullshit right there.
No, it does. Your one doesn't make. Of course, Wolverex can't die.
Oh, he's got healing abilities. He can't
Yes.
die. Oh, sorry.
I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Right. You've seen Logan, haven't you?
Oh, sorry. Have you seen Iron Man, whatever one, the one where he had all the alcohol problems?
Not really been in a film.
There was one where he got all drunk, and then that kid was angry at him.
I think that was the third one. He didn't die, though. So, if we just take it by the movies alone, we've already seen that.
No, only if this Wolverex is from Logan, which he isn't.
What? Sorry, what? That's convenient.
What are you talking about? You can't. You're annoyed at me for saying I'm not making it an old man T-Rex, but you're allowed to choose that your Iron Man isn't drunk Iron Man. If you're making it old man Logan,
okay,
then it has to be drunk Iron Man.
Right. How the fuck is he getting the drink in his mouth?
I was about to say, how is my one getting old?
That just happens, Jack.
I mean, here's the thing, Liam. The votes have already happened. You've got to come to terms with it.
Yeah, no, they've already happened. So I've come to terms with the fact that most of our listeners are wrong. That's not new news.
Well, I'm on your side, listeners. I thought it was Wolverex as well.
We had a few more tweets from Amanda. She said, "Poor Paul Rust," because we went in on him last time, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, we were when I was reviewing Love season 2, and
oh yeah, you were a little bit mean about him.
Well, you agreed. You actually paid me a compliment. You said I was better
Well, no, I
looking
just
than
said
him.
you were more attractive than him.
Thank you very much.
I wasn't saying he was unattractive.
And then Amanda said that she laughed and cringed through all of catching up with. She said, "Poor child Liam, adult Liam never had a chance."
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So at least someone understands.
Can you imagine? Let's just quickly run through. Imagine if you get those scenarios people talk about where they're like, "Oh, what would you do if you could go back in time and talk to your childhood self?"
Yes.
I feel like you would have to just apologise and be like, "It doesn't get better. We stay like this." You'd go back to that exact moment that you called for your friend's mum, and you just go, "Don't worry, we never learn."
This is it. Like, just get used to this. Yeah.
Sorry, that was really mean. I apologise.
But it's funny because it's true, Jack. I'm genuinely trying to think, like, what advice would I give my child self? Probably, like, I'd probably say this doesn't make a lot of sense to you now, but, like, put a lot of stock in Apple. You know?
I love the idea of you appearing in front of child you not able to wipe and just go and put stock in Apple.
It's just like, the fuck are you on about?
Who are you? How did you get in here?
By then I've just disappeared. That's interesting. I wonder, right? Because we obviously don't know if time travel has been invented in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we have had conversations with our adult selves as children, but we haven't realised it.
I think we would really, because I feel like I wouldn't be very subtle. I think I'd start with "I'm future you," and I think I would remember that conversation.
Yeah. So what advice would you give your child self?
I don't know. I'd be like, stop.
Stop what?
Everything.
Okay. Here's the question. Jack.
Be a better person.
I've got a better question, Jack. Adult you gets to go back and give child Liam some advice.
I'd probably go to him and I'd say, I'm so sorry for everything that's happened to you.
Well,
I'd be like, learn your friend. Okay, genuinely.
Yeah.
Some good advice. I'd say, learn your friend's mum's name. At least it will be a little bit less cringy.
I don't think he'd like that advice, though.
I'd just say, when you meet this Jack guy, stick with him. He'll try and help you. He might be mean, but at least he tries to help you a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of help in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think what I would tell child you.
Well, I can't imagine it would be helpful.
Oh, it would. I'd say girls aren't the enemy, and they don't always bite.
Thanks.
I think that would help. I'd also say you're gonna meet an old person called Liam at some point. He's not that old.
You're going to think it's hilarious that he's a little bit older than you, and you're going to make jokes about it, but trust me, it's 4 years. Deal with it.
Yeah. I would also say stick with the beard when that grows in.
Cool. I did.
Yeah, I know. What else? I would also say when you argue, you're mostly wrong. Learn that now.
I think that's incorrect.
Yeah, but it's going to give me now an upper hand, isn't it?
That's
if
true.
You're already like that seed of like I inceptioned you.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that. And then I'll say also, mate, you don't know everything about wiping. You're not the expert, and then I'll just leave.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that would confuse child you.
It really would. You don't know everything about wiping.
I've got another update for housekeeping.
Yeah.
I completed Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wait, what? All the trophies?
All the trophies, as we've discussed before, they're not like stupid like the Witcher ones.
Yeah, there wasn't a collectible one. Is that right?
There were collectible ones, but there was none that you could miss.
Yeah, got you.
That was the thing. Yeah, it was fine. I think I would, now that I've completed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we first spoke about it on Culture Shop, I gave it 4 out of 5. I'd probably knock it down to be honest to a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Just because, like I was saying in the last episode, you know, a lot of the story stuff is you just go to these points and then you just watch cutscenes, and it's not as like that. The gameplay doesn't feel as well integrated into the story missions as I feel like it should have been.
Okay.
And the whole mythology behind it, like, I think again when we first spoke, we were both interested in it. Now that I've learned like the answers to all those big questions, it's a bit meh.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But the actual gameplay itself is still fairly fun. I think with any, it does run into some of the same issues with The Witcher 3, where I think this game probably took me let's say 60 hours to complete.
Yeah.
And throughout those 60 hours, the actual way you play the game doesn't really change a whole lot. So you are essentially doing very similar things in your last 10 hours to what you're doing in your first 10 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit repetitive, but still overall quite fun. And just still even by the end, I was still impressed with how visually appealing the game is.
Yeah, I think that is probably its strongest point.
Yeah, definitely. It's the sort of one where I think if you want to show off what a console can do, this is a good game for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that was it for housekeeping. From me anyway. I don't know if you've done anything.
Don't think so.
Okay.
Culture swap?
Swap my culture.
What did we do this time, Liam?
We did Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan.
Yep.
Is there anyone else involved in the creation of it that's worth giving a little nod of the head to? A little hat tip?
Do you know who the artist was?
Fiona Staples? Yeah, she was the artist. Obviously, you've got the
she also helped create it.
Did she?
Yeah, on Wikipedia it says created by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Oh, okay.
And then it was written by him and she drew the art. So
right, because in Volume 1, when I open it and it says Saga and stuff, it just says Brian K. Vaughan writer, Fiona Staples artist, phonographics for the lettering and design, and then
I don't think you need to worry about that. I think it's mainly author and artist.
Eric Stevenson was the coordinator.
Okay, very good.
He coordinated stuff,
and he did a good job.
Yeah.
So, note to our listeners: if you haven't read Volume 1 of Saga, we are going to spoil it. So
yeah, sorry about that. Okay, right, Jack. Before we go into spoiler territory, just kind of give the listener a kind of very short if you like this sort of thing, this is up your street. So because say our listeners listening and they've never heard of Saga before, and it might be the sort of thing that once we start talking about it and we get into spoilers, they might be like, oh damn, that's actually something I really would have enjoyed reading, but I'm too late now. So
okay, well, all right. Does this work, Liam? I'm going to say something.
Okay.
Do you think this works? Space Romeo and Juliet for adults.
Yeah, I think that works.
I think that gets across most of it.
And I would also say if you find your taste leans more towards Jack's tastes when you listen to us, if you're a regular listener, this is more up your street than if your taste would more regularly align with my tastes.
Yeah, fantasy sci-fi.
Aliens and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, Saga Volume 1. Now, your description just then of Romeo and Juliet in Space for Adults is pretty much the exact description I'd heard before I bought it, and I bought this and Volume 2, because when I was first getting into graphic novels, I was just going through lists of these are the greatest graphic novels for starter, essentially. So this would come up a lot, The Walking Dead would come up a lot, Preacher, which we did a long time ago, that came up.
Yep.
So I got the first two volumes of this, quite excited, and then the first time I tried to read this, I got, I think, up to the second chapter and just noped out.
Okay, what made you do that?
Well, here's the thing. I was rereading it last night and got up to that exact same point and just sort of rolled my eyes and just went, I really, really hope it gets better because I'm ready to give up with it again. And
what bit? I'm trying to think what bit that is in the second issue.
So basically, it maybe wasn't even the second chapter, actually. It might have just been the end of the first chapter. Yeah, sorry. It was the end of the first chapter. My mistake.
Okay.
So both times I got to the end of the first chapter, and what it is, I think, that did it both times, is the graphic novel just drops you in the middle of a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yep.
And you kind of figure out within the first chapter that there's been a huge war going on between these two different races.
Mm-hmm.
But in a universe where there's lots of other races, and it kind of introduces you to the two main characters who are part of these two warring tribes, but these two have left the war effort, if you will.
Yep.
You've got the robot stuff that's all going on, and I think the point where I just checked out, where I was like, this is introduced because you've got the robot introduced in the first chapter, and then you've also got a hitman. Is that the right way of describing him?
They're called freelancers, aren't
freelancer,
they?
But essentially like a mercenary, right?
Yeah, these ones are like bounty hunters.
Yes, exactly. It introduces that and a woman with a unicorn horn on her head, and it is at that point where I was just like, it's throwing too much at me too soon. I didn't feel like I was eased into this. It was just like, here's this, and then here's this, and then here's that. Oh, and there's this as well, and there's a cat that can always tell the truth. And this is all within like the first, I don't know, 15, 20 pages.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just too much.
Okay. Not for me, it didn't feel like that, but I get what you're saying. There is a lot.
Yeah, and you're like a lot more familiar with this sort of genre, so I imagine. And I was thinking about.
Oh yeah, I'm so familiar with the space fantasy, Romeo and Juliet genre. Yeah, exactly. That's like everything. Yeah, of course.
And I was thinking like, why would this appeal to someone, and why does it bother me? And the only thing I could come up with, and I'm hoping you'll be able to like help enlighten me here, is I was thinking. I think the appeal for other people would be they like knowing that all this extra stuff is going on, and they like to fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean. So they like to kind of like imagine the backstories to these other like races that you see, and you know they might be like, oh, I really hope we get to find out more about this thing later on, and they like not knowing everything about that stuff. Whereas for me, I like to just focus on the story that's trying to be told, and when you have a lot of extra stuff seems like it's going on like in the background, I'm like, well, I don't care so much about that. I would rather, you know, learn about that when it starts affecting the main story I'm trying to focus on. Do you see what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I don't think that's how I feel.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think about why I like that as a part, and I don't think it like, because when I see these background races and like people like the Will, who is the freelancer, and like Prince Robot. I don't think I'm sitting there.
Yeah, I think my the point that turns me off is just when the woman appears with the unicorn horn. I was just like, this is just too much. Stop throwing new shit at me.
I mean, the thing with that is, right, when you actually boil this down, specifically this first issue, right, you get 3 storylines. You get the mum and the dad having the baby.
Yeah.
You then get a bit of Prince Robot and his backstory.
Yeah.
You have a tiny little bit that follows the mum and dad again.
Yeah.
And then you get the Will.
Yeah.
So, really, it's just 3 stories. It's not...
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the background to those.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, setup for what is going on in this universe.
Yeah.
But then, it's not... I didn't feel like it was too much.
No, and I just want to make it clear, I'm very specifically just talking about chapter 1 at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Also...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's a lot, but then it is because they're setting up... What is effectively going to be a saga, as we can guess from the name.
I think that's the thing. For me, I would have preferred if they'd have kept for the first bit, keep it small and focused, and then gradually expand as necessary.
I see. I don't like. I'm the opposite to you. I don't like stories like that.
Yeah, which is fair enough. And you know, again, like even that could be done in a wrong way. So I'm not saying like it has to be done that way. I just think from what I've read of this, that is a way that I wouldn't have in the first chapter found it like difficult to carry on.
But then if you don't have, so say you've got to have the 2 races and them setting up the fact that there's this huge war going on between them, right?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty fucking core to the 2 characters.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that.
Yeah.
I'll admit the Prince Robot stuff maybe not necessary in the first issue.
Yeah.
But then setting up the Will, that's pretty important because, as we know from reading the next few issues, he becomes way more central.
Yeah, definitely. But I just think, again, like, the way they've introduced him, by then throwing in, like, the unicorn thing, and like, there's a monster thing.
But so the monster thing is very throwaway. That's not them trying to set up anything. That's there are big monsters.
Yeah.
And the unicorn lady is just from the Moon Tribe.
Yeah.
So, like, again, she's not particularly expanding on it. She's just, like, the opposite of Prince Robot.
It bothered me. And the other thing that I wasn't a big fan of, which even after finishing it I'm still not a big fan of, is, so it's essentially narrated at this point by Hazel, who is a baby. Right? I don't like the way that the text of her narration appears. Like, there have been panels where I've missed that there was text because it just wasn't... like standing out enough, and it was only like I would look back and I'd be like, oh, there was some text there that I missed.
I like it because it looks like a diary, which I think what it's meant to be. It's meant to be like you're reading her diary almost.
Yeah, I get that. I didn't get diary so much. I got more like thoughts than diary, but I guess it's a very similar thing.
It feels like less thoughts, mainly because she's a baby in these.
Yeah. I just don't like just the way that text is presented. That's just personal thing.
Yeah.
What I will say is it is worth if someone is like me and has done the same thing as me, where they've got to like chapter 1 and gave up, it is worth persevering.
Yeah.
Because it does. I don't know if I'd say it necessarily stops throwing a lot of shit at you, but you start being able to tell where all the different shit that they're throwing at you starts fitting in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what I was trying to get across. I think when I'm saying like it's not too much, and that's because they sort of deal with the shit they've thrown at you quite quickly.
Yeah,
like most of the stuff that you brought up is integrated.
Yeah, like it's clearly like it doesn't feel like they're making it up on the go. Like it's clearly well planned.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that also runs the risk where if you know you've got the plan kind of sussed out and you can see the full plan, sometimes I guess it's difficult to how to word this. But if you can see, like, if you're building some furniture and you can see all of the instructions, and then you've got someone else who can only see like the first 3 pages of the instructions, it's hard for them to see how that final piece of furniture is going to look. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get what you're saying, but also, like, I didn't feel like that is the thing. And I don't want to just be contrarian and be like, I disagree, because I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Like, that is the way you saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, for me, that isn't how it happened. Like, and it is because, I guess, we enjoy different shit in these things.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, to me, it's not like I'm sitting there and being like, oh, man, I don't get how this is all going together. Like, I can see the pieces.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm someone, so in that analogy, maybe I'm the person that comes along, has the first 3 pages, and goes, that's a chair. Or I don't know how that fits in, though.
Or you look at the first 2 pages and go, there's a contents page here that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, maybe.
And I've missed the contents page.
I look at the first 3 pages and then I close it and I look at the front and it says Guide to Making a Chair. And I go, ah.
Yeah. But yeah, it does get better is the key thing, I think.
I don't think it was particularly bad to start with.
No, but for me, for someone
who from your perspective, it gets better.
Who at the end of the first chapter was like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah, the fact that made you stop reading it.
Yeah, it definitely. And the other thing that I think they don't do a great job of in the first chapter is setting up how violent and sexy it gets later.
Oh, that's not true.
Would you
Liam, let me draw your attention to page... Let me just quickly get there. Does it have page numbers? No.
No.
The page where Prince Robot is fucking another robot.
Yeah, not that sexy.
And then you see his penis.
That I was surprised at that, but...
And then a little crocodile butler as well, just to confuse everything.
A little what?
Crocodile butler.
Yeah, again, this is what I mean. This is what I mean by, like, the weird throwaway shit that's just in there, and I'm like, why are you in there? Like, crocodile butler, weird monster thing.
Because they're establishing that the universe is full of all these different species.
Yeah, I know, I didn't like it.
Okay, well, that's just ridiculous.
One complaint. So you see this guy's penis, this robot guy's penis, during he's having sex, right?
Yes.
He can't finish. And I couldn't tell what the image was that pops up on his screen.
It's a broken horn.
Okay. So he can't finish and apologises. And then as he walks away, you see his penis. It's already gone down to like teeny tiny. I would have thought it would be at least like a chub on, if not fully erect still.
I'm assuming that's what the issue is that he's struggling to stay hard.
There are no erect penises in this book.
Okay, well, that's a weird thing for you to notice, but sure.
It's rare to get an erect penis anywhere. It was one of the complaints I had about 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, well, I feel like you're fixating on the penises, and I don't know why.
I mean, wouldn't it be the first time?
Fair enough. So, you're right, though. It doesn't particularly set up, like gore, especially.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of gore in this first one, but some of the stuff that happens later is pretty brutal.
Yeah, much more. And again, I think, having maybe some of those elements in the first one...
Oh, although, no, someone's getting their head cut in half in the first issue.
Is there?
And you see it. Yeah.
Where?
The scene where Prince Robot remembers... Oh, no, the scene where they go to capture... So, listeners, this is confusing to you. They try, like, the 2 tribes that Alana and Marco come from...
Yeah.
Are like hell-bent on capturing them because they both
do you want to give a synopsis
of
what this is actually about?
Yeah. So Alana and Marco are both members from these 2 warring species. One of the species lives on a moon, one of them lives on the planet. So they've come to the realization that if either one destroyed the other, it would fuck up their thing. So the moon can't blow up the planet because it's a moon, it would just drift into space and die. The planet can't destroy the moon because it would cause all the tidal issues and stuff. So they've outsourced their war, is how it's described. So they have these huge wars on all these other planets. They've like forced all these races to pick a side effectively, which is why there's all these different people. Alana and Marco get fed up and leave. I think Marco got captured. Alana was his jail keeper.
Yeah.
They fell in love. They then leave the armies and then get married. And the book starts with Alana giving birth to their half-breed baby, which is half of both races. So both races are then trying to capture them because they think it's going to demoralise their army. I assume that's meant to be, you know, people will realise that they don't need to be in this stupid war because clearly you don't have to kill each other when with like this.
Yeah, okay.
But then you get all these other characters that are then sort of sent to hunt them down. Yeah. And it's in that scene where it gets brutal.
Yeah.
Prince Robot's like slicing dudes' heads in half. Or someone slicing dudes' heads in half.
Yeah, I think it's... So they get ratted out by someone, and then you've got, like, I think 2 different groups appear at the same sort of time, and there's a bit of a crossfire.
Yeah.
So I think once you get over what, like, all of the shit that's going on, you kind of get it put in your head where everything fits in, it does get a lot better. I have to admit, like, I'm still more interested in the stuff with the will than I am with the actual, like, main characters.
Oh, see, I really like the main characters.
It's not that I don't like them. I didn't like the whole him getting really badly injured and then her having to, like, save him. All that sort of stuff felt... I don't want to say it felt rushed necessarily, but it felt more like... It didn't feel like it happened at the right place in the book. It felt... I would have preferred that we'd have had more time getting to establish these two relationship and then put one of them in like, peril than as quick as it happens.
Yeah, but then you've got to bear in mind that this came out in issues.
You know, I get that.
In the 6th issue. So that's like 6 weeks of people experiencing this.
I thought that happened before the 6th.
No, it's in the 6th, isn't it? Because it's right before... Oh, it happens like at the end of the 5th, right?
No, I think it happens at... I can tell you in a second. It happens at the end of chapter 2.
Really?
Yep. The end of chapter 2
Well, he gets...
when the stalk appears and stabs him.
Oh, yeah, no, fair enough.
So that's what I mean. It feels like they put him in peril too soon. I haven't got to...
But then does that not... Okay, this sounds weird now that I'm like, oh, okay, it did happen then, but whatever. Like, seriously, like, does that not help them build their character relationship?
No, it does, but it would have, I think, worked for me better if I'd have liked the 2 characters to start with, because they are likeable. If I'd have had more time with them, liking them, and then one of them gets put in peril...
Yeah, but I'm assuming, Liam, that's not the end of the peril. Like,
no,
I highly doubt everything's going to suddenly settle down.
I'm just saying it was one of the niggles that I was like, I wish they hadn't have necessarily done that.
Right. I think that's such a weird thing to niggle about.
Well, you know...
Because I don't understand it, I think. I don't understand what your problem with it is.
That I think the book wanted me to feel something that it hadn't earned.
But I don't think it was. I think it was trying to show you their relationship, which is what you wanted. But then also you didn't want them to do that way. You wanted them to show their relationship a different way.
It shows you how she feels about him. It doesn't do a great job of showing you how he feels about her.
Yeah, that's
he's
part of the relationship.
I had issues with it, Jack.
Okay, well, I think it's such a weird issue to have, is my issue.
It would have worked better if I'd have got to know both of them.
Yeah, but you like saying that. You say that about everything we read or do. You're always like, it would have worked better if they do this.
Yeah,
and that's
always...
But it's always... It would work better for you.
Yeah, okay,
Not for everyone else. We're all fine with it.
Whenever I say that sort of thing, it is with the implied caveat that this is for... It would have worked better, asterisk, for me.
Well, I wish you would always say that.
I will try my best to remember, but I probably will forget. Like I said, like by the end, I was on board. I think it comes back to it's throwing you in the deep end still. And it definitely does like calm itself a little bit by I think maybe chapter 4.
Yeah, but is that when they start focusing on like stuff happening to the will instead of them?
A little bit, yeah.
I sort of feel like the way it seems to be at the moment from that first volume.
Yeah.
Is almost like when one story's being calmer, one of the other ones is either starting to get intense or is having a thing happen.
Yeah, and I much prefer the Will's story stuff. And like, alright, so if you could give like a quick synopsis for what his like story arc is in this first book.
So he gets hired by the Moon Tribe
yeah.
to hunt these two people down.
Yeah.
He then finds out that a lot of other bounty hunters have been given the same job. And it's
I did like that scene
first.
Where they essentially give him like a blank credit card and they're like,
yes.
You can put all your expenses on this. It's like, well, why would I do this in any hurry then? You're not the only one we've hired to do this.
Yeah.
I did.
And
like
then,
that.
So he's got this unlimited credit card. Then he finds out that another bounty hunter that he knows has been put on the case.
An ex of his.
Yep, someone that he's had a romantic relationship with called the Stork,
Yeah.
who he never wants to see again.
Yeah.
He thinks she's better than him
Yeah.
at it, so he just says, fuck it, I'm going to go spend all this money on a prostitute planet.
And that's when it really kicked up for me.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Liam.
No, because I just like that. I was like, oh, it's gone down this route. Because I think while there's like some violence at that point, you don't get this like, oh, they're going there with this like universe. Like there are these pockets in this universe. That...
Are you talking specifically about what happens at the prostitute planet, or just in general the prostitute?
Just like
planet?
in general, and also what happens there. Like the fact that it's willing to have this prostitute planet. I was like, okay, so that's kind of like it feels kind of unexpected from what we've read so far in it. Then you arrive at this prostitute planet and it just gets real fucking weird real quick.
Yeah.
And then especially what happens there, I'm like, oh, so it's also going. It is going dark as well. With
Yeah,
this.
yeah, because it is very dark what happens.
Yeah, and also quite dark how it's resolved, or maybe not necessarily resolved.
Yeah, no. Do you want to explain what we're talking about?
So on the prostitute planet, the Will is looking for some sort of sexy release. Nothing's really working for him. Someone clocks this, notices, and it's like, I've got what you're looking for. A slave girl, I think is how it's described.
Yeah.
Turns out the slave girl is a 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
On a prostitute planet. Now, the Will, naturally, doesn't like this idea. Reacts very violently, slaps someone's head in, well...
I think he crushes it. I don't think he slaps it. He just squeezes it till it explodes.
It's like a clap.
No, but see, I don't think it is. I think he literally is. I think the way the panels are laid out, that he's meant to be grabbing the sides of that guy's head.
Oh, and then just squeeze it.
Because that guy's then like, oh, I don't really want to be involved in whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
I think he just squeezes it till it explodes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, like, there were issues with getting her off of this planet. And it's kind of resolved with, from what I can guess, she's left there.
Yeah, you find out that they've all got a drug in their system where if they leave the planet,
it
will
hardens.
just solidify and kill them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, and it was at this point I was like, this is out there. Like I like that it's taking risks, I think, is the way I felt by that point.
Yeah,
you could play this sort of story quite safe and not go down those dark roads.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that it was like, look, this is a universe where it's not like there are these elements to it that you will see.
I think this bit as well is like my favourite narration bit.
Yeah.
Because it's got like the best quote from Future Hazel, which is, "The Will wasn't the first bounty hunter to come after my parents, and he wasn't the last. Like every freelancer I had the misfortune to eventually meet, he was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
But as my family was about to learn, some monsters are worse than others." And I was like, oh, I like the way that's setting.
Yeah.
What sort of, like, you've just seen this guy crush someone's head, and she's like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but maybe he's not the worst bad guy.
Yeah, definitely. Like by the end, I am now very curious to read the second volume.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I get why, like when I've gone into my local comic book shop and stuff, when I said it didn't quite work for me, I get why they were surprised.
Yeah, probably. Did you also explain to them that you'd stopped reading at issue 1?
Yeah.
Okay, did they then go, just read more?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Why?
Because you should have listened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it is... I don't really know what else to like say about it, to be honest.
I just think it's an interesting idea, in like, even just to take the core concept of what it is, which is a sci-fi space opera.
Yeah.
But also a very fantastical, like they've merged fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is like, I find that interesting because it's two genres that I really like, and they've tried to sort of incorporate it together.
Yeah. Do you think there's any like deeper meaning to this that I'm missing?
I think the book definitely will have a message. I think it's probably quite early for us to be getting it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what it is at this point.
Like, I'm sure, if I was going to stab in the dark,
yeah,
it's another sort of family thing and love in, like, finding love between two people that hate. It's sort of the Romeo and Juliet message there as well.
Love conquers all sort of thing.
Yeah.
Make love, not war.
Yeah, exactly, Liam.
Yeah.
Unless it's on a prostitute planet.
And then make war.
Yes.
Because
I mean, that's also I guess that's an interesting bit as well. That's just reminded me of.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Marco, the main dad character, has taken a vow of non-violence, and you sort of get a look, because at the beginning he's just like, I'm not gonna I'm not going to use my sword anymore
Yeah.
because I've got my family now.
Yeah.
But I really like the scene where he does have to use his sword to fight off. They're about to get captured, and he kills or he attacks a lot of people, and you see him go into like a blood rage.
Yeah.
Where he's just like wants to kill everyone, and the only way his wife can stop him is by shooting him with a stun gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's this other interesting layer to Marco that is, and it's also hinted at that he's done some really bad stuff.
The only thing about that is, for me, you're gonna disagree.
Probably.
If you do. I found it more interesting when he was approaching situations being like, I can't resort to violence, and the fact that so quickly, like within the first like 4 or 5 chapters, he already is like, fuck this vow, I'm getting my sword out.
No, you're reading that wrong. It's not that he's being like, fuck this, that's it, I'm just going to have to get violent. It's that there's that one, that he was forced into a situation where he had to, but he still wants to not be violent. So I think that makes it more interesting that we've seen him be forced into the situation. Because the fact that he then breaks his sword deliberately.
I was disappointed in him.
Right, well, that's because you're a heartless bastard. His wife and daughter were about to be killed.
Yeah, but there's got to be another way around it.
No, that's ridiculous. Because what they're doing there with the pacifist thing is interesting, and I like the idea of pacifism, and I'm a pacifist. But there are also, like, if your wife and child are about to be killed, then yes, sometimes it might be the answer. So I think that's interesting.
But, like, I'm not being funny.
What other way would he have?
Yeah, but the first time, okay, when you find out he's taken this vow and that, it's like, I'm not going to resort to violence. His wife and child might have still been killed at that point, and he still
but that's because there were so many enemies.
But he still didn't get the sword out, and then
no, because
later
there were
on,
too
he's
many.
like, "Well, I'm going to get the sword out now," and it was like, look, if you're going to make a decision, commit to it.
I mean, personally, Liam, I don't really want to nitpick Saga. I don't want to bully it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
If you could see the smug face I'm pulling right now, Liam, I think it would annoy you a little bit more.
Imagine, and this is it. I don't like his lack of conviction, because imagine if I'd have gone, I'm going to complete The Witcher and get all the trophies, and then like 4 hours later, gone, nah, I can't be bothered. Not going to do that.
Okay, well now let's do a different situation where you say I'm going to get all the trophies in The Witcher.
Yeah.
And then someone kidnaps your mum and puts a gun to her head and says, Liam, if you don't stop playing The Witcher, I'm going to kill your mum. What would you do? Assumedly, you'd stop.
Oh, I mean, like, can we not figure out another way around this? Like,
And he'd say no.
This seems like an extreme reaction to me just wanting to get some trophies.
I mean, it's not a two-way conversation, Liam. He sent you a letter.
Well, I've written a letter back.
To where? He hasn't given you an address.
Oh, how's he going to know if I've stopped playing The Witcher?
He's got away. He assures you, and to prove it,
yeah,
he says play a bit more of The Witcher, and then sends you a bit of your mum's thumb.
Right. Well, I would want a way of contacting him.
Well, he doesn't give you one.
Well, I feel like there would be a way to get in touch.
No,
I'd write to my mum. I'd write to my mum.
Your mum's not at her house. She's been kidnapped.
Surely they'd have set up like some postal redirection thing, or they'd be checking.
No.
Like, they'd
Ian's
be
still there.
They'd be checking me somehow, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they're definitely checking you somehow.
So
yeah.
I'd put a message on the TV screen.
You get another letter, and that letter says, "Stop trying to talk to us."
I'm like, well, how are we going to come to some sort of agreement if you're not open to communication?
Sends you one last letter and says, "We're not going to come to some kind of agreement. Stop playing The Witcher."
You can't really reason with people like that.
I honestly didn't think it would take you this long to stop playing The Witcher. We have your mum. Dear God, what are you?
And I'd be like, look, if you can't be reasoned with, I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Fucking hell. Yes, maybe this book isn't for you, Liam, because I think it might be for people who have normal human emotions.
If you give in to one, next time I'll start playing like Horizon Zero Dawn, and they'll be like, oh no, I don't want me to get all the trophies in there. They'll kidnap Cat. Like, I'll be like, why? All I want to know is why they don't want me to get all the trophies. It seems such a weird thing to not want me to do.
I mean, you're not in a situation to ask it, though, Liam.
I feel like I have a right to know.
Oh, you do, but they're kidnappers. It's, you know, they can just do what they want.
Yeah, but they're humans, Jack. Surely they'll have, like, emotions and stuff. They'll be able to be reasoned with.
Well, you don't, so let's not put it on other people.
Oh, I can be bribed.
Yeah, they can't.
Why not?
Well, they can. You could bribe them by not playing The Witcher 3.
Surely there'll be other bribes, though. Like, what if I played it...
No, they're very rich.
No. What if I played it but only naked?
No, they don't want to see that.
Alright, well, they better send my mum back or I'm never putting clothes on again.
Oh, well, they say, well, that's fine. I mean, we don't want to see it, but we also don't care.
Well, then they can watch me slap my dick around.
That's fine.
Perfect. And I'll complete The Witcher 3.
Okay, then they kill your mum.
I just feel like that's such an extreme reaction to me getting trophies.
Well, I'm not them.
Well, you are.
I'm not, Liam. Let's be very clear here.
Well, no, but you've created them in
I like
your
your mum.
mind.
I can't be in charge of whatever my mind creates, Liam. Don't put that onus on me.
I can relate to that, actually. I was
Exactly.
I had a conversation with Kat in the car earlier.
Yeah.
Where I was saying, like, does she ever, when she's driving by herself or whatever, just like come up with ways to make her laugh? And
To make herself laugh.
Yeah. Because, like, if I'm driving by myself or
Mm-hmm.
if I'm bored or whatever, I'll just create, like, personas and then I'll just have conversations between the two of them just to see how they both, like, respond and react to each other.
Okay.
And I was just asking if, like, she did something similar.
I mean, no, that's weird.
No, but you're not understanding, like,
no,
what do you think
I'm
about
understanding.
when you're doing something boring?
I think about, like, other stuff.
But, like, do you not think of, like, ways to amuse yourself when you're bored?
Well, yeah, but I don't create personas to do it.
But that's just, like, one way of doing it.
I mean, yeah, but it's not a way that I think most people do.
They're missing out.
I mean, no.
What do you mean, no?
I mean, no. Well, can you give me... I mean, I'm not going to understand unless you give me an example, Liam.
No, I think that's too set up.
No? What? No? All right. How is that set up?
No, it feels too forced. You have to just
No,
wait
I'm not forcing
wait
it.
and
Just
see.
let me talk to old man Liam.
Oh, you right, you young whippersnapper. How's she going?
Can I also speak to young Liam as well?
Hello, mister.
Now can they talk to each other?
Oh, you don't know how lucky you are with all your youth. But you've seen so much of the world. I haven't, no, have I? I've had her indoors chewing me ear off. She won't let me go out and mingle with the ladies. What do you mean mingle with the ladies? Oh, let me tell you something, boyo. You got some great things to look forward to. Just stuff like that.
I mean, that's weird, mate.
But when you're driving in the car by yourself, like there's no one around to judge.
I sing to myself.
That counts. That counts. Do you ever like...
No, sorry. Oh, I didn't make that clear enough. I sing to myself. I don't get old man Jack to sing, because he's not real. He's not a person. I sing.
Not yet. He might be one day.
Well, yeah, eventually. And when I'm old and him, then
All
it'll
right.
be fine.
But do you ever like sing in funny voices?
I mean, maybe I'm just more mature than you, but I'm not that into funny voices.
What I like doing, like one of the things I quite like doing when I'm singing, is I like to sing, but like in a really serious voice. So like, you don't really try to sing, but you like almost speak the words in like a very serious manner.
Okay.
Like, I stay out too late. At least that's what people say. Stuff like that.
Yeah, why do you do that?
Because like when you've got all the music going on and stuff, to me it's just funny just having like a real serious delivery of that sort of thing with all the music in the back. Like all the music's all like upbeat and stuff, and you're just like just giving it like very straight.
Yeah.
Like so, like I'll be like, shake it off.
Yeah, no.
Shake it off.
I get what you're saying.
What you didn't see though was me miming driving while I'm doing it, which I think would have added to the...
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
There's an interesting future for Nerd on Nerd where we do an episode where we go and see a psychologist and we discover everything that's wrong with ourselves. And I feel like your list might be longer than mine.
No, I think the thing is, you hide your things better.
Yeah, that is true.
I think you're more aware that people actually listen to this, whereas I tune that out because I'm like, why would anyone?
Yeah, got you. Right.
So I forget that we have listeners. So to me, this is just us talking.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then, like, I'll get a tweet that's like, you could have kept your wiping problems quiet. And I'm like...
Yeah, and you're like, could I?
Sorry, what? Who?
Wait, you mean I didn't have to do that?
You mean you were listening? Bit weird. And like, I don't quite go through the thought process of, no, it's weird that you put that on the internet for people to listen to.
Yeah, I see your problem.
Yeah, definitely. But
what would you give Saga, Liam, out of 5?
No, before that though, I would just be curious if our listeners could just like email us or tweet us with like anything that they do by themselves in the car that they might
I would like to know specifically if people do that thing you do, not the singing thing, having the like
voices.
other characters.
Yeah,
if other people do, then fair enough. Maybe I'm the weird.
There's some that Kat absolutely can't stand.
Yeah, I assume they're quite horrible.
So if any listeners who are listening could email or tweet us like what they do in the car when they're alone that like they wouldn't do around other people or that they themselves think is maybe not necessarily normal. We can if you want we can kind of like read these out anonymously.
Let us know.
Yeah, we can be trusted.
We can. If someone says I want to be anonymous, we have to keep them anonymous.
Yeah. I would happily keep either Tom or Amanda anonymous. since they're the only ones that email us.
And Gibbo.
He doesn't email
Well,
us.
not emails. No, that's true.
Yeah. So, yeah. Saga.
What did you give it out of 5, Liam?
So, by the end of chapter 1, it was a solid 1 out of 5. By the end of chapter 6, I'd gone up to 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
How about
I think
yourself?
I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
So we're not too far off then.
No.
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. And you, dear listener, can look forward to listening to future housekeepings where I'll talk about that.
Very good, Liam.
And that's that for that.
What are we doing on the next Culture Swap?
We're going back to when kids TV was still on TV. Not hidden on its own channel, but like...
Right. I mean, it's still on TV.
You don't get like Saturday morning kids TV anymore.
You get CBBC.
That's its own channel.
No, you also get it on BBC.
I'm not up early enough to see it then.
No, exactly. It's not that it's changed. It's that we don't see it because we don't watch it anymore.
We're going back to the 90s, a time when neon was in fashion. Pop was very big.
Yeah.
Spiky hair, that was all the rage.
I see pictures of people wearing dungarees a lot.
Yeah. And Jack entered this world.
Yeah.
Came a darker place.
Yep,
We're
definitely.
watching the first 4 episodes, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, we're
Because
watching...
that's a bit weird.
Alright, so here's what we're doing. We are watching Goosebumps. So this was first aired in 1995. How old would you have been then?
4.
Sorry, 1996 apparently this was first.
5.
No, it's not clear. 95. You'd have been 4. Fucking hell.
You were only 9.
Yeah, that's an appropriate age to be watching this stuff.
Yeah, I also watched Goosebumps. Not that I probably didn't watch the first 4 episodes.
Yeah. So we're watching... So here's how it goes. Some of the episodes are split in 2. So when it's a 20-minute show, we watch 6 episodes. But because 2 of them are split in 2, it kind of works out as 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're doing The Haunted Mask, Part 1 and Part 2. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, The Girl Who Cried Monster, and Welcome to Camp Nightmare, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, join us next time for a bit of a time warp back to before terrorism was as bad as it is.
Oh, God.
Please keep that with your reaction.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, God. That was brilliant.
You're a fucked up individual, Liam.
What do you mean?
I mean, you just are.
No, but when I think of like the mid-90s, that's what I think of.
Really?
Like things being happier generally, like the world like seemed to be a lot more at peace with itself.
Okay.
Do you not think? You wouldn't know, you were 4. You've probably only ever known like global wars and stuff.
You're only 4 years older than me.
So yeah, Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Jack?
No.
Bye.
Bye.